I got my 14-year-old to play this game, and he said, "Nah, nah, 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 nah," which I think translated into, you can't use triangles for collectibles. That's normally what's used for enemies within the Geometry Dash type of game. So I'm going to need to add something on here. So instead of just dying by falling off things, I will die if I hit an obstacle or if I hit a spike, that type of stuff. So I'm not going to be adding enemies where they move back and forth, creatures and so on. You can do that if you want. All I'm going to be doing is adding spikes in various places. So when I hit those, my lives should also go down as well. But it's not quite as simple as that. So bear with me. So I'm not going to change these triangles, no matter what my son said. But to honor what he did give me in feedback, I am actually going to add a triangle for my enemy. And in fact, I'm going to call this spike because I'm going to have a series of spikes. I'm going to change the color so it is exactly the same color as the ground. And if I zoom in on my spike, I can then move her into position because I've got the move handle ready there, look. So it's actually in contact with the ground. And if I zoom back out a little bit, I'm actually going to move her across. No, that's the camera I move in. Let's click on spike and make sure I'm moving there. Move her across to that area there. Now, at this moment in time, when I press play, I will just basically walk or go through the triangle because there's no collider on it. So I'm also going to add a collider, and it's going to be a polygon collider because that goes nicely around a triangle shape. And on the collider, I'm just going to make sure that is trigger is ticked. Otherwise, again, no code will kind of run as a result of it. Now you might be thinking, well, all I need to do now is just basically add that script I had on my death barrier, which is falling death. I just add it onto it, and I just connect everything up. So my lives text will go to there, so that the live counter will go down by one and it'll appear up on the screen. Want to say what the player is and what the camera is, so they respawn at the beginning of the game. And when I press play, in theory, that should work. But like I said earlier, it's not quite as simple as that. So if I come in contact with my spike, my life goes down to 2, it'll go down to 1. But if I've learned now and I jump over the spike and I fall off this, then in theory, I should be game over. But in fact, it's gone back up to 2. And I've hit the spike again. Well, that didn't quite work. Now, the reason why is because the code, which is on both of these, so on the triangle and the death barrier, they're referring to live, so it constantly resets it to 3, depending on what you're hitting that is. So in that respect, we're going to take off the falling script, and we're going to actually add a new script called spike death. And we are going to kind of build this up with spike death. There he is there. And we're going to get rid of the bits we don't normally use. So I'm going to get rid of those guys there. And I'm also going to get rid of those bits there. Now, I'm not going to be kind of like copying and pasting from a Word document as I usually do. But what we are going to be doing is connecting up our falling death script in terms of the lives which are referred to in here. But before that, I just need to grab those. Oh, in fact, I do need all those things at the top. I'm going to copy those ones across. So you can do this because you've already got the falling death script already set up. And I'm just going to bring across these 3. I'm not bringing lives across. But what I am going to do underneath this, and look how brave I'm being, I'm actually typing in stuff myself. Now we're actually going to make a reference to the fallen death script, which is there. And we're going to kind of put something called a key to be able to access something from it. So we're going to be doing something in a moment where we're going to be using this word falling death to actually access the lives count, which is in this script. So it'll be a lot tidier. Now, I'm also going to copy across all this stuff as well. So this is the stuff which, like I said earlier, which will make our player respawn after 2 seconds after dying. And I'm going to paste it into there. And you'll notice the word lives appears quite a lot. And everywhere I see that word lives, I've actually got to put this key in front of it to access the lives, which is in the falling death script. As in, where we to, sorry if I'm going on, that one there. And you'll kind of see what I mean when we get going. So I've got lives there. I've also got lives here. Got a few more a bit further down, I believe. Yeah, I've got it there. I've also got, well, I've got to put a dot in between as well. Don't forget that because it won't work. I'm going to paste that into there. And I've also got it there. And I think that's all of them, really. So if I save that now, and I come back onto Unity, hopefully there won't be, oh, it does, oh, I didn't put a dot in one of them. Where's it to? Fallen death.lives, fallen death.lives. Which one did I forget to do it in? Oh, it's that one there. So let's save that back onto Unity. Hopefully that'll kick in. And what we've basically done is access a variable in another script. That's what that key thing I was referring to. So if I just click on my spike to make sure I've got everything connected up where it needs to be. So that's the lives text. We've got our camera. We've got our player. And you can also see that there's this part here. Now, I'm not going to drag and drop anything. I'm actually going to click on the dot and just double click def barrier because that's what the fallen def script is connected to. And now in theory, that should work. So if I run into the spike, I should die. I gotta press play first, don't I? If I run into the spike, I should die and respawn, and my life goes down to 2 because it starts off at 3. And I'm going to jump over it this time. And if I hit the death barrier, then it should go down to 1, as you would expect it to. And then again, if I hit that, game over. Job done. Right, in the next video, I think it's probably a good idea to actually start looking at how we win the level, as in get to an end point and it says you win instead of game over on the screen.